Hello everybody, welcome to another Planet Coaster live stream. We are here just next to the carousel outside the steampunk area. You can see I've got some new chimneys up at the top there. Let's go through all the stuff I've done since the last stream, if I can remember the list. Let's see, I don't think there's been much here in the steampunk area. No, I haven't really done anything in here. Oh yeah, I put in this, which is not a TMTK item, it's the combination of two pieces. In the city area, I have to turn the volume down, this is too loud. That should only change it for me. This was a restaurant, is now going to be a gift shop. And I imagine the rest of it would be offices or something. So I'll sort all that out, obviously, to put a new floor in, all the new lights and stuff. That should be a nice gift shop. Just hop out of Tejicam for a sec. So, gift shops is kind of the main thing I've been looking at. So, there is going to be one here. I'm thinking probably this building here, you'd enter through the base down here. It's going to be one, as I said, here. I'm also looking at changing up the building design, putting some windows on it. I've done a few things with the Farley Flyer. So number one, started a bit more work on the inside of the station. Kind of just doing this wall back here really. And also here. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave the roof as concrete or if I'm going to put something on top of it. I've got a tiny amount of space to work with though, so we'll have to see what I end up doing. Also done the white trim around here with the photo sign. Obviously that takes you down to the photo booth. Also, if we hop over to the brake run, I've put some nice lights around it and also these nice vintage posters. This is always my plan to put these. What else? So, a bunch of stuff in the Viking Land, we'll get back to that. I've updated the gift shop in Buccaneers Bay. The other shelves have stayed exactly the same, but we now have some t-shirts and also this cool rack here with some like snow globes. This is a blueprint off the workshop. Can't remember who made it though. And yeah, I was kind of looking at the gift shops, just updating them. Obviously we have the main gift shop here that still needs sorting out. That's going to be a very big job. But yeah, so finally go over to the Viking Land, started work on the station building. We're going to have kind of the main building here with the actual station, and the exit ramp and accessibility lift will be kind of part of the building. It will have like a tower on this part, then sticking out of the building is going to be the exit pathway and the Viking gift shop. And I started putting in some rocks, also finished putting in the fence around here, putting in some benches and some bins, and yeah, that's all going to go through there. It's going to be a really cool building. You can imagine here you have like a nice big triangle and then like a big tower right there. It's going to look really cool. I've done more work around some parts of here, including this section, and also a bit more around the back here. I don't know if I'm going to put some like dirt decals along the walls here. I think I'll probably have to do that at some point. So obviously, yeah, lots of water. Hey, Miss Barbar, welcome to the stream. I've left the starting screen on. There we go. That's better. Okay, I've also planned to put a nice little shop here, but I think here, you know, we want to see the coaster pre-drop. So I think I'm going to leave that out just like that. We'll probably have like a hidden vista point so you have people pointing at it and stuff. I've also done some changes to the queue line for the coaster. It's going to kind of sneak through this tiny gap between the lift hill and the maintenance building, kind of go into this back section here. And then yeah, kind of come back around this way, past our chain lift maintenance building, and then there'll be loads of queue around here. I think that's everything. I was doing lots of small things like we now have a much more realistic catwalk on the transfer track here, which should be able to slide across with the train. Sadly, there's no small enough net piece to put the net under there. Okay, which means we can't have the nets like the rest of the lift catwalk there. And I've also done some realism stuff, like putting electrical boxes on every transfer track. I did actually do some changes around here, all these lower down sections around the mountain. I've got rid of all of the plants and stuff, and I think it just helps with kind of the zone. So you've got this part here where it's a bit more lush, and then kind of out here in the actual mines there's much less of it, only in kind of like the higher up sections of the mountain. Yeah, I think it just kind of reduces. It looks a bit strange having so much greenery everywhere. But I have put some more plants kind of around the lake here as if they're growing as a result of there being water. I think that's pretty much it for everything that I've done since the last stream. There's probably something I've missed. But I think today we'll probably work on maybe some of the terrain around here. I want to try and get the bridge up to the rapids done, and maybe even the rapids entrance. I have no idea. This part here is going to need doing though. Maybe we can try and join the cliff up to there. I don't know, I'll have to see. But I do need a name for the river rapids which we can make a sign for. So if anyone's got any ideas. Find the limit of text pieces. Oh, cool. I'll be interested to hear what the limit is. It's definitely be useful going forward. So let's see, let's just line this up. And then I will replace both of them with the 4 meter versions. Nice. So I think it should be like there, nice and grand. And this here is gonna. Should it connect it? I'm not sure if we need this or if we should just have a custom fence going along the side. I don't know. For now, though, I will connect these two. Just like so. And we'll put some more theming on it once we come up with a name for it. Because obviously there'll be a big sign on there. Let's see. Let's just get all of the wood pieces. Oh yeah, I should also point out the roof. I've got a couple of Viking blueprints off the workshop for inspiration. So this is one of them. So you can see a very interesting roof design. Kind of just looking to see how they've done all the details really. And then the other one I was looking at is this one, which is actually a rapid station. But I really like the way they did the curved roof here, so probably going to take inspiration from that. And I have taken inspiration from how they've done the roof sections here to do this. Though actually looking at it, I think it would probably look a little better if I just select a bunch of these at random. I just kind of did that and then select a couple of different ones. Just lowered them down ever so slightly. Oh yeah, that definitely makes a difference. That one I'll raise up slightly as well. And we'll do the same on this side. This will just lower a little bit. Cool. And from inside it doesn't really change it that much, but it just adds a little bit extra to the roof. I like that. Oh well, I completely forgot what we were doing. Oh yes, this. Right, where is... This is probably going to be the best one to use. So on one side we have to be very careful to make sure that it's fully accessible, well, not accessible, protective of the side. So we'll probably use some kind of rope fencing. I also want to edit these. Actually, I need to do that first. Yeah, and then if I just do this for each of them. If I can just grab this one. Like that. Still looks like it's being held up. Nice. In fact, I should probably do that with all of them. And they'll just look a bit... I don't know. I think it looks kind of cool having them stick out slightly. But I think for down here it needs to look a bit cleaner. Especially because we'll have rocks and stuff. Okay. If we do something like that. Try and get it exactly halfway. Cool. Are these two separate scenery groups? They are. I should probably split those. Keep these together. Right, have we got any other... Oh, that's a gridded one. I could use the planks. This might look good. Let's get them in the middle there. Flip it round. Across to like there. Then we can just do multiple at a time, really. And then just kind of flip the odd one. It does stick out the bottom though. How are we going to sort that out? Well, we're probably going to have rocks running up the side of it. In fact, if we're going to have rocks just going up the side, we can probably get rid of these. This is all going to be hidden by rocks anyway. Let's see. I think at this point you can't really tell that it's repeated. Rocks to add a... Yep. Somehow the spacing has worked out absolutely perfectly here. Not quite sure how. If you look at it from this side where you can't see it sticking out the bottom, that looks really nice. Just add a bit more variation in there. Then I will flip this one as well. Nice. Right, how am I going to select just those ones? No, I'm going to have to deselect a bunch of other stuff as well. Bring this across to there. Very nice. And these can probably actually delete both of them and just have it. No, I do think they need to be here. They need to be probably around there. Hi, welcome to the stream. We are doing some work on River Rapids, which do need a name. Let's see, is there anything cool I can do at the top there? Which roller coaster? We're working on a rapids. There's a GCI Woody in this area as well, but working on the rapids today. I'm trying to figure out if there should be something at the top there. It feels like there should be. Let's just try... Let's try this, but like quite heavily angled. I'm gonna have to use the 2-meter walls, I think. Yeah. Cool. And then I think we should stick out a little bit. So how have I done this? Actually, we'll just spin them. Usually works better. There we go. We'll sort out the Z fighting in a second. But if I now raise this up, we can put details on that. Right, Z fighting shouldn't be too difficult. Then I just got to sort this one out. There we go, all sorted. Let's actually work on the rocks now, because then I think we'll get a better idea of what it's all going to look like. But first we'll put some more of the fencing in. So let's see. In fact, we should probably try and connect this up now. I'd say these are, I think they're Western fences, but they work so well for a Viking theme. I had the same issue on this side. How do I... That's going to do it. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay, cool. And now we'll do the rocks. And I'm trying to make it, I can do it. So it's like the rock work. It's like slightly engulfing the fence. So let's see, we'll start. This is a really good one because it's super flat. So I can get some very large sections of it done. But we're focusing on this section today. As I said, if you've got any ideas for a name for the river rapids, just pop it in the chat. And if I like it, I'll whack it on into the park. Okay, nice, that fits there. This one is probably going to fit in here if I angle it right. Yes, I've got to put a really small one in the corner. Needs to be raised up a bit. Just do something like that instead. And that fits very nicely. I don't want to put some of the Jurassic spiky rocks in though. Just kind of like that. That looks nice. Gotta do the same on the other side now. I think it was this rock we were using. Yeah. No clipping is great. I was going to make sure it doesn't kind of hop into the right area there. Oh, we got an autosave. I have to say, in some parts of the park, there's definitely the... it's getting to a point where I do have to build with pause mode on. But so far the Viking land is alright, probably because there's not much around the back here. I'm not looking at the park. Okay, autosave over. Wasn't too bad. Had some pretty bad ones recently. Okay, now just gotta finish up this little section. This is going to be a lifeguard point, so we will sort that out later. Okay, it's starting to look quite nice. I think now, basically I've got to cover this section here up with rocks. So we'll start with the biggest rock that fits. Like that. No clipping is great. And then we will slowly make our way down. So put one of these at the bottom, I think. Like that. You can use one of this as well. I think the angle of this one also works nicely. We've just got to get the rotation on it correct. Nice. Here there's a tiny section, so we'll use this rock, which I found works best for these small areas. Nicely done. And then finally here we can probably do with one big rock. Oh, hang on, we got clipping on the stairs. Is it the small rock? It is, yeah. No more clipping, and it covers everything up quite nicely. I do want to have one of these kind of coming out the side, like so. Nice. And actually what I think we can do, I've done this a couple of times around the queue, it's easier as we can also have like the fences leaning up against them as if they've been placed to keep the rocks at bay. I don't want that long one, I need a short one. Let me do something basically like that. And it just helps add a bit to the theme, really. That looks cool. Nice, okay. Still need a name, but for now that's kind of the rock work on both sides done. I will just put another rock just in here, I think. Actually we'll use this one. Okay, nice. Just see the Farley flower in the background there. I love the way that airtime hood is perfectly between the entrance and the lighthouse there. You can just see the flyer in the background. Okay. This is all going to be an absolute nightmare to do around the back here. This camera's probably going to have to move, actually. I don't think it's going to fit in there. Where should we put it, though? Actually, it might work. Hang on, I have to pause it for a sec so I don't lose this boat. You can hide it behind this rock. Like that. It's like right there, basically. Yeah, that looks good. So let's just move the trigger. What does this trigger? No. What is this trigger doing? I'm so confused. It needs to be around there. And yeah, activate the spotlight. Play for 0.1 seconds. Just go to night mode and test that. Sped up fountains looks so weird. Okay, so it's coming along, and as it hits the photo point, nice. That works very well. Okay, so you've got that ramp sorted. Hang on, there's still a giant gap in the rockwork here. Let's fix that. Can I use one of these? I might be able to. Oh no, I've moved it in a weird way. If I do it like there, and then put this rock in like so, does fit. Nice. And it just adds a bit of variation to what you've got here. And then we can use a couple of these like so. Do that there. No clipping. Very nice. So I do actually want to add another one of these, just kind of at the side there, for a bit of fun. Why not? Very nice. I do really enjoy the landscape that's been developing here. In fact, we grab the basalt rock, that piece that I've got. I'll just whack a couple of them around here, I think. Cool. Okay, so that's that section done. This whole part is going to be just a mess, really. This gift shop really should have one of those cool arched roofs. Why can't I move the mouse? Wow. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to pause it for a sec. So here, if I'm trying to do the arch, what's the best way of doing this? Probably using the 1 meter beam. Actually, we'll have to have it aligned to this. So my first time doing like a fully custom roof. So I think if we start like that, go to the end, just kind of keep going like this. That is kind of the shape we need. But I don't think it should extend out quite that far. No. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to take this. Let me grab the 4 meter one. If I stick the 4 meter one out like that, that feels like how far out it should go. So now I just need to curve it, basically. Actually, the best way of doing that might be... just do the old circle technique. And then probably... I think it's going to be around that big. Bigger. Like that. Let's try. I don't know if this is going to work, but if it does, it'll be super useful. Oh. Okay. This does actually remind me, there was something else that I worked on. I'll show that in just a sec. Actually, I only need this part. This is too big. Oh yeah, I've made it way too big. Okay, let's try this. Okay, 1. Actually, what I'm going to do, because I know it needs to be exactly 90, so we'll do that. And now we will connect them up. We'll do this as well. I'm trying to keep it more even. I think what I want to do now is just Oh no, okay, tell you what, we will delete these ones and we will hope that like being just shy of 90 is enough. Please tell me this is the right size. I may have done this somehow. Oh, no, I think it's a bit too big. I think it's a tiny bit too big. It is. It's a tiny bit too big. But that looks nice. I just have to get it the right angle, which is that basically. Wait, what is going on here? Why is it slightly downward angled? I don't know. It does look cool though. Yeah, it's just ever so slightly too big. So again, we make it smaller. In fact, what we should probably aim for, I want to figure out why it's like, why is it spinning downwards a tiny bit? Very bizarre. Has that sorted it for all of them? I think it has. Although it's not quite right. There we go. Yeah, what is going on over here? I think that's just something to do with the way I've done that. We'll come back to that in a sec. I did want to show you what I've been doing here, because this is new. If I go in this hallway, I use the technique to make this called domed, not domed, half cylinder ceiling for this part of the RMCQ line. I almost forgot to show that at the start of the stream, but I thought I'd mention it. Let's see. This should be perfectly flat. Okay, we do that. And then something like that. Let me just make this into a scenery group. Right, first of all, 90 degrees. Then we do the check. Is it going to go downwards? No. Okay, so it is flat this time. In fact, we'll just do the whole thing. That needs to go there. Oh, it needs to be a tiny bit smaller. Okay, let's do this properly now. And then finally, oh, it's almost there. It's so frustrating. Just to be like that, surely. Let me just get all of them. I think I've done it a bit too much. Oh, maybe not. Hang on. Just get this absolutely perfectly lined up. No, that is absolutely bang on perfect. So, That's a quarter. We'll take that over here. The axes are not great. They're better if I use the world axes. Ah, it's too small. Are you joking? Okay, hang on. How do I... hang on. I to 180. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got to flip it somehow. I just back to it. No, what? How do I spin this over? Let me try grabbing another thing. Now I've got to somehow line these up. This is not easy, wow. What's with this snapping? So annoying. Still not quite there. Okay, I think that's done. Nope. This is a nightmare. It'd be so much easier with the Planet Coaster 2 controls to do this. Yeah, what? What is going on here? I feel like what I need to do is take this and then just move it to be like that instead. And then just line those up, take the whole thing, flip it 45, raise it up, delete all of this, delete this. Hit that. See, that is more what I'm going for. So let me just delete this part. That did not look right. And then bring this round. Okay, and then now try and line it up. I also feel like this part should be slightly bent down. I think the circle just has to be a bit bigger. It's like this is so close to what it needs to look like. So that needs to go further down basically. If I had the scaling tool, this would be so much easier. Hang on, it's not even lined up properly. I see why. Hang on. I think like that. No, not quite. should be like that, just bigger. I've got to redo the circles, but just big enough to add one extra plank basically. This stream was just turned out to be me doing circles. Right, so I think last time we did 6. So this time we'll try an extra one. I've made it too big. Not by much though. Oh, so close. Okay, let's add another one. This time I've got it this time. Come on. Ah, slightly too big now. So where was it? Oh no, not that. Probably about there or so should do it. Oh, I can do it, I can live with that. Right, now we flip the whole thing. 45 degrees, bring it over here and down. Line it up. There. Now we've got 2 massive circles. Do this. And now delete the unnecessary ones, which is those. I should have lined this all up with the building originally. Never mind. But the side, it's still not big enough. I need another one. Right, so probably something like that, I think. Should also make it easier because we're going for 8 per circle now. Oh, I almost nailed it straight away. Probably about that much. In fact, because we've got 8. Okay, nice. Oh, now I need to put my angle snap back on 45. Like that. Shall I lift it up this time? Okay, now we do the deleting part. I think we just need that. Kind of looks like one of those birds you draw when you don't actually know how to draw anything. Also looks like the vampire logo, the one down at Chessington. Oh great, it's not centered. Now it is. Very nice. Oh no. What I do want to do though, is take those out and just extend these. Actually, I think I'll just extend these ones. Just like that, so it just goes into all the way into the building. Nice. I can probably delete this as well. Should probably merge the two as well. Now what I want to do is, where is it, this one? Is to do that basically. Probably bring it down a little. Around there, then we'll just use a 1 meter one, flip it round. That looks quite nice. And I believe I should be able to extend these, or can I? No, I think we're going to have to do this with planks. Start with the big ones. It's got to be starting from there. So I'm going to have to raise this up. In fact, I think we'll just duplicate it up. Like so. Could just do that actually, that looks quite good. That looks nice. Okay. And now this should work nice and easy. Oh, come on. That's it, let's align it to these instead. Now, yeah. Why is this so annoying? Actually, this one should do it. Oh, no. Not like that. There we go. Bring it down a bit. Why is it slightly angled? I'll do the same on this side. It is also slightly angled outwards. I think we can work with that actually. First of all, what is going on here? They're now at the same height. Bring this down one and across. We will do a separate roof inside, I think. We're gonna have to lower everything anyways. In fact, I think from oh, not another autosave. Come on. That was very slow. I'm aware there's no game music in the background because I've got it on pause mode. Once this autosave is finished, I'll try going back into play and see if it affects the frames at all. Wow, this is a really bad autosave. How long is this going to take? My word. Okay, we're done. Right, let's bring in the smaller plank. We'll spin it first. And just actually, okay, the game is now in play. Hopefully we'll get some music starting up soon. That looks pretty cool. Now I've just got to figure out how to cover the final gaps. It should just be like that, I think. And I do want to add like a couple of extra bits of wood here and there. So adds a bit more character to the building. Nice. Then what I thought we could do here is basically that. And that covers up the gap rather nicely. Oh no, hang on, not quite that. Cool. And similar to what we have here, I kind of want to get the 2-meter one, bring it back to like here and just angle it downwards a bit. That looks really cool, but I feel like there should be kind of like one continuous angle all the way to the end. So it'd be about that long. This will just extend slightly to meet the other two at the end there. Okay, that does look pretty cool, having it angled like that. Quite happy with that. I think we just need to get the other side on though. So let's make a start here. How many large planks did I do on this side? 3, so we'll do 3 on this side as well. I will rotate some of these on both sides after we're done. I just want to see how it looks. How many of these did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put 6 of them in. So that's the last one, and then we do a rotated one. Got to move it first though. I just gotta put it in here, like so. And then as we did on the other side, just have a few around to add a little bit of character to our building. Also spin a couple of these. Doing so that will mean I have to move them slightly. I only really had to spin 1 on that side. We'll spin 2 on this side. And we'll do this one as well. Nice. There does have to be some sort of decoration on the end here. You can imagine kind of with the rest of the building done as well. We can definitely hang a sign from inside there. That would look really cool. I just want to go back to my inspiration blueprint and have a look what they put on the end of the... it's like a custom made dragon's head they've put on all of them. How about the other one? What did they put on the end? Just with like arches with wooden beams. Interesting. See here, I've done these cool dragon heads. I did the same thing up on the lighthouse. Let me just try dragon. Do we get anything cool? What on earth is that? Yeah, we get the dragon lamp, which I think is it's just a little too big really to work on the end. Could just leave it like that actually. Yeah, I do want to hang like a big sign from the top there saying gift shop. Let's get some rope. Oh no, that's in the scenery tab. Let's do the straight rope. I think it will look better. Cool. And actually, I think we might be able to use one of these. I just have to move this to be like here, I think. Yeah, and I'll also flip this around so we've got the flat side. Oh yeah, that looks really cool. You can imagine we can have loads of theming on that wall there. Nice, and in fact, we can also hide a little light in there. If I just go to nighttime, grab a light. Probably go in with just the spotlight. Thinking more of hiding it up at the top there. Oh yeah, that looks really cool, but obviously it's the wrong colour. And it's also a bit too far into the wall. Needs to be about there. First of all, let's get a more wooden colour for the rest of the light, so it blends in slightly better. Slightly more orangey tone. I think it needs to be a bit brighter actually. Still needs to be a little brighter. Like that really. Yeah, that looks really cool. And yeah, from here, oh, you can hardly notice it. I'm so happy with how that's integrated into the roof there. Nice. I was actually thinking we could have a small lake here that the coaster goes above, or like round the side. I just don't think we have enough space for it. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. Okay, ignore the lake idea. What should we call our gift shop? That's the next thing to try and figure out. What do we call the gift shop? I think I'm thinking any Viking gods we're not going to mention. Who's the Viking god of water? God of the river. Is it the same guy? Do they have a god of boats? That's the same guy. If I want to name each thing after a Norse god, we'll use the god of rivers somehow in this. That's where I'm getting it from. Digital Dan did a log flume called Njord's Fjord, so I can't use that name. Okay, but I think somehow we can figure something out with that. The coaster, I think, is going to have to be like Thor, Odin, or Loki. I kind of want the maze to be the Loki ride, because I think that makes sense with the scare maze. Got a mischief. But then we're not... Where do we use Thor? We could have one of those little hammer game things. So if this is something called Odin something, we can call this Odin's Forge. I believe there is a Viking font on the workshop. Oh, that was the what do you call it? Let me go back. Yeah, this is the gift shop, so it was Poetry Slam that did that one. There's a new workshop apparently. Ooh. This looks very nice. Oh, Dave finally finishes Doom Ride. Nice. Finally, some interesting stuff. Search Planet Coaster. There was definitely a Viking font. I'll try to see if I can find it. Actually, let's do a Theme Maker's Toolkit. No, maybe it's Norse. Let me just do font. There's definitely a font that's like the... I don't know what you call it. It's gonna take a while. It's a lot of fonts. Only on page 7. Let's have a look. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing it at some point. That's the Deadwood font there. Why is the dragon fountain here? Looking for fonts. It can't have been a blueprint, right? It might have been a blueprint. Lots of really cool fonts coming up now. I do like this one. Wonder if I can use that somewhere. I don't know. But we are... I definitely remember there was a Viking font. This is the one I've used for the steampunk area here. Unless it was a blueprint. Here we go. It's this Greek one. Just this looks... Oh, is it this one? I think Chacha used this in something. But they look quite good. So let's just grab the letters we need. So we need D, we need I. We need F. I don't actually... Oh, this is all 2 meters. This might be far too big. Oh, and of course it's going to lag my games as well into TMTK. Okay, is there a 1 meter version? Let's see, this is the guy who made it. There's the font. Is it all just the 2 meter version? It looks like it. Yeah. Right, one was I'm gonna unsubscribe from the ones I subscribed to. Yeah, it's gonna be too big. If I grab... Oh yeah, it's absolutely enormous. So this is just not gonna work. So let's go back and keep looking for fonts. This is where the scaling tool would be so useful. We are, I think, only like halfway through all of the options though. So it could still be a nice font. I just have to find it. These might be useful for the Skyride station, which is I want to theme to some sort of diner style thing. That's a Z. Interesting. There's the tiny font, but that's not really the right. Is that the whole font in one piece? Oh no, it's right. Okay. Let's see, the Horizon font's kind of cool. I think that's from a game. So I do like this new workshop more than the old one. No new fonts coming up at the moment. This is a cool font, but I don't think there's any use for it. That's not what we're looking for. Why is the letter O from the small font so far down, just randomly? That font's not going to work. I have a feeling I'm looking for a Planet Coaster 2 font that I'm thinking for some reason is from Planet Coaster 1. We've already got one more page and it's not going to be here, is it? No. Right. Let me just go back to the main workshop page. Let me see if I can find it. Maybe one of these. I think these are blueprint fonts. But let's have a look. Lots of options here. Sci-fi, simple, western. Please say one of these is like a Viking font. No. How are we gonna do this? Tell you what, let me grab this video that's looking at a Viking coaster and let's have a look at the entrance sign for it. Where's the entrance sign for this ride? One of the fonts that's like just on a regular sign does seem like it might work. At least it's probably the closest we're going to get to a proper font. That's too small, that's too big. It's like all the signs are exactly the wrong size for this. Let me just whack it in and see if we can find the right. So Odin's Forge. It's not that one, or that one, or that one. See, that is probably the closest we have to Viking. The problem is the signs are all the wrong size. That's actually only the western signs. Maybe some of the other ones. Editable text. Let's have a look at these. It's far too big. This might work. Hang on. I'm trying to make it bigger. It's got too much detail on it. That's huge. That's even bigger. Hang on. Might be onto something. What I do want to try though is having two of them. And if I do this, I do put a gap between each thing, and then just do that as much as I can. But then also change the font. We'll just get rid of that for a sec. It's not quite aligned properly. The problem is I kind of need that text to be like here. And all the signs are too big to make that work. All the western signs are too 3D. That one we've established doesn't work. That one's not going to work. That will not work. Wow, this is much harder than I thought it was going to be. Maybe this one? So this is the problem. Can't. If I just duplicate it like this, and on this one I'll do that. This doesn't quite work. Maybe if I just do one of them. We could just do another wooden piece on the other side. Let's change this to how much. I don't know, that's the. Instead of white, we can have more like a brown. And maybe instead of black, we do a lighter brown. Nice, and then all I've got to do is that pretty much. It is nice, I do like it, but the colours are not quite right. I think this has to be kind of more red. And this maybe slightly yellower. Maybe put. That's too much space. Can you read that? No, the colours are terrible. This I think needs to be a more wooden colour. Be a bit lighter. That's definitely much more readable. Let's see what it looks like at night. Nice. The problem is that I would like to put spaces between each letter, but I don't think we have. I don't think we can quite. No. Yeah, that just doesn't work. I'm also going to take one more space between the two. I kind of wish we could put the extra spaces in there. Oh well, I guess we're going to have to just deal with that. What can we put on the other side? I don't know. We'll leave it for now. Actually, something else I can do is I can put some extra rope in there just to add a bit more. So let's do that. Flip it this way. Oh, not another autosave. I thought these were every half an hour. No way it's gone that quick. Oh, it's very slow. I'm using the Rapids boat right here to figure out how this autosave is going. Okay. So this I think would look cool if it was like that. Does it clip through the top? No. Oh, that's very nice. Big fan of that. Obviously from back here you cannot read what it says at all. Hang on, we got some annoying clipping. Can I somehow push it like a tiny bit further back? No. Do we get the red? We do get the red. I wonder if we can use some type of wooden beam around the outside to help hide that. Why is there so much lag all of a sudden? What's going on with this search bar today? That's too big. That's massive. Can we use the planks maybe? We kind of... Or we'll have to use the smaller one. If I align it like that... Actually, the way to do this is to delete this. We'll figure this out like that. Ah, now it's too big. Whoa, what's going on now with the camera? My word. Let's just do that. And then we can bring this back into place. And hopefully now when we zoom out, we don't see the annoying red lines. Fantastic. And it just adds a bit extra to that sign, I think. Cool. What could we put on the other side? I think we'll sort that out later. Wow, that sign was a lot more difficult than I thought it was going to be. On the inside, we'll figure something out later. Obviously, all this is going to be indoors, so doesn't need sorting out right now. So I'm very happy with this, and I've also got a building I can kind of copy around now. It's like you can kind of imagine how the station is going to look up like there. Maybe not that high. In fact, you might be able to do a very quick mock-up of the station. So if I take this, flip it, put it like there. Give me a second. That is kind of what the station will look like. Obviously bigger, but I think now you can start to imagine what it's going to look like. Nice. I just want to get my inspiration blueprint out again. This one. Just see kind of what else they've done to make it interesting. Right, I've used the same wood set that I have. Cool. I'm not doing this because the piece count on that thing is ridiculous. It's like 600 pieces just in the little roof spire. It's crazy. But yeah, here we just need to kind of add some theming to the walls, which we can probably just take inspiration from some of this stuff that I've done already. It could actually be cool if we had like a ladder leading somewhere, as if they kind of use that to get up to the sign. Yeah, I think for now that looks really cool. Let me just go back into play because a bit less lag. But I think I'm going to leave it there for today. We've been going for an hour and a half. Yeah, very happy with that. Really like how that sign turned out. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.